Hello, everybody. Psychopathic1 here. Going to review a movie, uh, Terrifier. I have the alternate cover on it, so like it's a little bit more explicit, but I guess you can see art right there. I'll cover up the back too because it's pretty explicit as well. Gotta make sure it's covered, but yeah. Um, The first time I heard of Art the Clown was from a movie called All Hallows Eve. I have not seen the second one, but I have seen the first one, and that's actually one of the more recent. Well, not too recent anymore. I think the movie came out in 2014, but it it's a fun little anthology horror movie. What I like about it is each story somehow involves like an image of Art the Clown. Now, in in uh in the movie All Hallows Eve, David Howard Thornton didn't play Art the Clown, uh, so I don't really know much about the guy who played the original Art. But when Terrifier came out, they decided to go for David Howard Thornton, and this is the first movie I've seen David Howard Thornton in. It doesn't say introducing, yeah. I don't know what he did before this, but from what I know about him, he studied miming. So the kind of clown that's in this movie is a mime. Um, this is a body count movie, straight up. It's not really heavy on the story. You you pretty much get the plot. It's two women that are coming home from a Halloween party, and they decide to stop off and get something to eat. It's Dawn, and Dawn is the blonde one, and I want to say the other woman's name is Jenna, but that I'm just remembering the actual actress's name, Jenna Cannell. But anyways, Jenna's character has a sister. I always forget the woman's name, the character's name. But anyways, it starts off. We don't see it as a flashback. We see it as like what's happening after the fact. We're introduced to this woman with a really disfigured face, poor woman, and this host. She's a real character. I'll say that. Like I'll try to be nice and everything, but this woman will irk you to death. But anyways, she ends up pretty much going behind the scenes and back to her dressing room and being like pretty much talking smack on the lady. And then all of a sudden you think Art's gonna show up, but what ends up happening is the woman with the disfigured face, is hiding behind the coats. And what ends up happening is the woman ends up coming out and ripping out her eyes and pretty much making her face disfigured, like ripping out her eyes, disfiguring her nose, ripping out her teeth and whatnot, and that's the way the movie opens. So if you're not into like super gore or now now there are gorier films, I will admit that, but for like a mainstream type horror movie, the Terrifier films are definitely the most gory when it comes to mainstream. Um, hell, it's gorier than some of the Evil Dead reboots. It's gorier than Evil Dead Rise. It's gorier than Evil Dead 2013. Now, is it as bloody? No, but just the visceral feeling of it is just. But then after that scene, the credits open, and then we get introduced to like Dawn and Jenna's character, and they decide, you know what, they're gonna get something to eat. And what ends up happening? They get their pizza, and in walks Art. He's got a trash bag. We don't know what's in the trash bag. I'm gonna try my best not to spoil this movie, but then again, almost everybody's seen this movie by now. Um, uh, Art has a little, it's a pretty big trash bag, and he ends up looking at Jenna Cannell's character and starts smiling at her, like, and so Dawn, being the goofball she is, ends up going up to Art and flicking his nose, and then taking his hat and just bopping it. And she decides to take some selfies with her. And what ends up happening is Art is just looking like this, like a really blank stare. And he ends up literally just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, Dawn, after she gets done taking her selfies with him, ends up going back over to the table, and what ends up happening is uh, Art gets out of the seat, goes all the way over to the little I forget what those things are called. Pretty much, you put a coin in, and then you'll get like a certain item. It's been years since I've used them, so like I forgot the name. But if you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But he ends up getting a ring out, a little plastic ring, and he puts it on Jenna Cannell's finger, and then Dawn starts making some jokes, and then that pretty much sets in motion our characters. So the kills, the kills are brutal. Now, is it the most brutal movie I've ever seen? Depends on enjoying the brutality. This movie, I can enjoy the brutality. Something like Martyrs, I finally watched Martyrs for the first time, and that just wasn't my thing. Like, I'm not into torture films, but I decided to watch it because my girlfriend's brother actually actually is into the torture films and stuff like that, and he was curious about it, so we ended up watching it. It just I just don't get into torture films, and a lot of people call Terrifier torture films. There's only like a handful of scenes in the two Terrifier movies. Like the closest thing to torture in the first one is the bisection scene, because it does go on for a little while. But the second one, when I watch the second one by myself, I skip over that uh, death uh, of Sienna's friend. Um, it's the trick or treating part, and she ends up getting, the death scene just goes on way too long, and like I want to be enjoying the movie. I don't want to be like I know why they did that scene. Like apparently there were supposed to be more kills in the movie from what I read. Um, um, like I heard this and that. Some people say there wasn't supposed to be a whole lot of deaths, which there's a lot of deaths in the movie, but there was supposed to be more. And other people are saying, "Oh, these are the deaths that were already made." But from what I heard, the reason that death was so long is because COVID was happening at the time. So when they were making the movie, COVID was happening, and they decided to like elongate that death, and it goes on for 10 minutes, and I'm like, mm, no, no, The rest of the movie is cool. Like you actually get a final girl in the second one, which I will review the second one at some point. But this one, the kills, they're good. Um, uh, you got decapitations, you got a head smash, you get a hammer to the head, you get the head being popped off like the top of the head being popped off like a can. Um, get brain taken out. You get a good car wreck scene. You see cannibalism, and that's just within the first maybe 35, 45 minutes. It's not a very long movie. It goes by at a quick pace. So yeah. Um, the first time I saw this movie was actually on Tubi. And I'm all for physical media, so I was like, man, I gotta get this. I gotta get this. So I ended up getting the Blu-ray for about $15 on Amazon. I don't know how much it is now, but this film is fantastic. Everybody did their acting perfectly. Like when they looked scared, they literally looked and acted scared. Like you actually felt the fear in them. And Art the Clown, the actor who plays him, David Howard Thornton, he did a phenomenal job. Like I'm all for silent killers, and I'm all for killers that talk trash and everything. But I much rather prefer a silent killer. And the way this was handled was wonderful because, like, even though the killer doesn't speak, you can tell that he's having fun. And and like just the overall atmosphere, like it this movie screams Halloween. And I know this might be controversial, and I love John Carpenter's Halloween to death, but I'll always love Halloween 4 more. And if I was to choose what movie I watch more on Halloween, either this or the original Halloween, I watch Terrifier more than I watch the original Halloween. I always watch Halloween 4 um, every chance I get, but like John Carpenter's Halloween, like I used to love it to death, like literally love it to death. It was always my second favorite slasher movie, next to Friday the 13th Part 6. But over time, like there have been so many fans coming out of the woodwork and giving the Halloween fans a bad name. I'm not going to name names or anything, but there's still some nice Halloween fans out there. But over time, everybody focuses just on the original and not the sequels. And the sequels are really dang good, but that's a description of another story. But yeah, this is a fun Halloween movie. And the second one is too. But the third one, from what I know, from the way the teaser trailer showed, and from the way Damien Leone describes the new one, it's taking place during the holidays. It's taking place during Christmas time. So could we be seeing a strangulation by Christmas lights? Maybe a strangulation by tinsel? A decapitation with a lawn gnome? Well, maybe not a decapitation with a lawn gnome, or maybe like a little Santa gnome being shoved through a person's head. Who knows? But Tom Savini's going to be in it, so I'm excited to see what he brings to the table with his death scene, which I assume Tom Savini is going to end up dying in the movie. Uh, but anyways, what are your thoughts on the movie Terrifier? Leave the comments down below, and I'll make sure to read them. Um, I feel so bad for my shaky camera. Like I kind of have to hold this in my hands, and I have tremors. So so the screen's going to unnaturally shake. So I'm sorry about that. But anyways, this is Psychopathic1 signing off. And before I go, I will show the disc. I actually have the House of a Thousand Corpses disc in here too. But that is the disc for Terrifier on Blu-ray. The DVD is a white disc with blood splatter, and the Blu-ray is a black disc with blood splatter. But anyways, if you love gore and you just want to turn your brain off and just have a good time, see a good body count movie, definitely check out Terrifier. It's worth it. If you're not willing to like buy it, it is free on Tubi. So like, if you decide, oh, you just want to watch it for free, it's on Tubi. The second one's on there too. I actually bought the second one digitally on the Xbox store during the March into Horror sale they had a few years ago. Such a fun series, especially for gore hounds. Uh, you literally feel for the characters in it, and the characters weren't annoying in this. Like they were literally, you felt bad for them, and I didn't get annoyed with Dawn. Like like everybody has that friend that you're like, hey, this person's probably going to get us in trouble, but you're still their friend, and because they're just so nice and everything. So definitely check out Terrifier if you haven't already. But by now, almost everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen the second one. So leave your thoughts down below. Like, what do you all think of the movie? Me personally, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect 10 out of 10. The reason being, I could have done with more character development. But at the same time, that out of 10 is a really high 8 out of 10 because this is a film meant solely for special effects, showing off the talent of David Howard Thornton, of what he can bring as a killer, and just the overall ambition that Damien Leone had with bringing Art the Clown to the big screen. Because he started off with short stories, and then he transferred those short stories into the movie we know as All Hallows Eve. I haven't seen the second one yet. I don't know if it's good or not. It's on Tubi. I just haven't watched it yet. But All Hallows Eve, I loved the ending to that movie. Like literally, Art breaks the fourth wall in it. So I was just like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then a few years later, in 2018, I end up seeing a trailer for this film called Terrifier, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this looks awesome. But anyways, I will read the back of it real quick. It's a pretty simple synopsis. A maniacal clown named Art terrorizes three young women on Halloween night, and everyone else who stands in his way, not for the squeamish. Definitely up there on my list of gore films, splatter films. I have like a top 20 list of favorite splatter films, and Terrifier probably comes in at like maybe number 15. Terrifier 2 comes in at number 10. So, yeah. But, anyways, tell me your thoughts down below. I will catch y'all later. Uh, Tell me what your favorite kill is. My favorite kill is probably the top of the head being cut off. Oh, there's one death. It's off screen, which is one of the few off screen deaths. It's with a homeless lady. She gets her entire torso skinned, and Art the Clown is wearing her skin and wearing her scalp, and I just thought that was creepy. It's not the goriest death, but by golly, it by by golly, it is really really creepy, really disgusting, and I just loved it. And the fact that he's just having fun with the skin on his body, he's just like waving his hair and just dancing around and everything, and I'm like, okay, like I can see that David Howard Thorne's having a fun time. And how much of this is improv, I do not know. But anyways, that's my review of Terrifier 1. Came out in 2018. And much respect to y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this review. I tried my best not to shake too much. Um, I'm still feeling bad about giving that guy motion sickness when I reviewed Violent Shit 2. Uh, I feel really bad. I do need to get like some sort of stand to put my phone onto. But anyways, hopefully y'all enjoyed this review of Terrifier. I will catch y'all later. Psychopathic1 signing out.